Hi, everybody. Having a little bit of trouble here. I I'm using the onboard on my laptop, so of course it's not going to look quite as polished and professional as it does with my phone. But I wanted to. Okay, I mean, Gorl World is on fire, and I think this week's GorlWars is. I think this is a mutual knockout. uh, for a long time, for quite a few months. Uh, Chantal has been leading. I mean, between going to Syria, starting all her antics again and whatnot. Yeah, she was in the lead. And then suddenly this weekend, all the Amber drama blew up. And as with Chantal, it started with a kitten. So, first, let's start with Chantal. Now, where Chantal left off was she was working, or she was pretty much chased out of Syria, or sorry, chased out of Kuwait because she found a kitten, took it from its mother, and then tried to raise money, which goes against all the laws and ethics uh, of Kuwaiti custom. And on top of everything else, she's not allowed to do that while she's there on a tourist visa. So, and then because she was running her money through Salah's accounts, that opens up a whole lot of questions about where his money's coming from. So, both of them skedaddled out of the country to avoid any further issues, any further charges, and so on. Now, to be fair, unless they wanted to make an example of them, it's highly unlikely the laws are really going to come after them for the, you know, $15 or whatever it was that they were able to raise. And Canada does not have an extradition treaty with Syria or with Kuwait. I keep saying Syria when I want to say Kuwait. Um, Syria, Kuwait does not. Kuwait and Canada don't have a mutual extradition treaty, so she's going to get back to Canada, and Canada's going to go, yeah, we don't care, because I mean they really only care about like terrorists and unalivers and whatever else, right? So she came back to Canada for like 5 minutes. She didn't like the apartment she was living in, and she said that she missed her cat and her husband, and she wanted to go back. So, in a fit of utter madness, she went into Syria, which is a war zone and which no sane person probably is doing right now. And I'm sure that Syrian authorities looked at her and went, "You're doing what now?" So she's been there for a couple of weeks. She's absolutely miserable because there's no air conditioning, there's very little fast food, and sorry, my hair is sticking up. Bothers me. I mean, it doesn't look better like this, but at least it's not sticking up. Sorry. So there's very little fast food, although she is still better fed than a lot of the people there, which I'm sure results in quite a lot of simmering resentment from the people who are starving. And even one of the buildings that she had very recently vlogged was bombed. So yeah, so I mean, so much drama, so much scariness. She was in the lead. And then this week, she jumped even higher because it made even more points because she found a child with Down syndrome and decided to raise money for her, which, one more time, is not legal under her visa that she probably has in Syria, and is not allowed under the, requirements of being a Syrian charity. And I kind of looked it up a little bit, and yeah, you have to be a recognized charity to be raising money for anything in Syria. And then on top of it, she cooked a meal that made 5 people sick and spent some time in a Syrian hospital, which again takes away the resources from Syrians, which is, I mean, it's madness. Man, I really, so Foodie Beauty's been in the lead for some time. Then this weekend happened, and Amber all of a sudden came from behind. She let us know that she and Tommy have been together this whole time. Excuse me, Emily. I don't like calling her Tommy because nobody even knows why she calls her Tommy. Even Emily herself doesn't know why she calls her Tommy. And she revealed that Emily has been corresponding with a reaction channel, and that then pretty much she tried to get ahead of it, do some damage control. And she painted us this narrative wherein um, she was she argued with Tommy. Tommy was mean to her. Tommy was looking at feeder corn, let's call it. Um, Girls bigger than Amber, and making comments about Amber, like calling her Pocahontas, and saying stuff like if she lost weight, she'd look like a melted candle, right? Now, I'm going to put a pause on that for a minute here, because at this point, we hadn't seen the texts between Emily and Mr. Snowflake. And once we saw that, it was revealed that this really isn't anything new. This is quite similar to the way that, that Beck said Amber operates, the way that Destiny said that Amber operates, the verbal and psychological manipulation, let's call it, because we don't like that word caboose, that Amber engages in with her partners. And then the fact that she tried everything, including losing her cat, to be allowed to stay in Wisconsin. Okay. And we've also, and I mean, okay, like, first of all, now I've been in a position where somebody just moves in and won't leave. And it's very difficult to get that person out if they don't want to leave. They have to get on their own 2 little feet and walk out the door, or yeah, you've got a house plant and there's not a whole lot that you can do about it. Um, it does kind of beg the question as to why Emily let her come in the first place, because Amber has a long history of simply showing up and never leaving. She did it with Crystal, she did it with Casey, she did it with, um, sorry, I kind of spaced on the name Casey there because I'm really, really terrible with names and I don't want to dead name him. So I hope Casey's the right name. She did it with Crystal, she did it in a lot of ways. She did it with Destiny, she did it with Beck. She just kind of showed up and never left. And I think they even there's even a name for that, something about U-Haul lesbians, where they've known each other a week and then they just kind of show up and move in together. That's apparently a thing. I don't know. Um, so it's not like she did not have precedent for this stuff. So, and she said that she was utterly miserable in Wisconsin, which everybody could see. And she tried to claim that it was because Emily was abusive. And Emily says that anything she did was a reaction to what Amber did, and Amber says that anything she did was a reaction to what Emily did. Now, given Amber's past, I tend to believe Emily a little bit more. There's one thing that I do question, though. A lot of people, sort of along the way, ask why, if Emily likes a big woman, why she said mean things like that about Amber. And nobody's pointed out yet that let's call it cedar. The cedarism really does come down to a form of caboose and control towards the partner. And there's part of me that does wonder if Emily was expecting somebody very passive, very um, submissive, right? Which ultimately, you know, being the CD and letting that person take care of you because you can no longer take care of yourself because you've just been fed to that state, um, that's really giving up a lot of control. Uh, so it does make me wonder if that was something that Emily was expecting and did not expect to get our girl. And quite frankly, I think they deserve each other. But that's just speculation and armchair psychology on my side of things. My little speculation. Um, but from the way that Emily's texts paint it, she was expecting somebody normal, and she got our girl. Which, I don't know. Some of the red flags should have been raised a long time before that. So the meltdown heard around the world, around Gorl World, happened, and Snowflake's video happened, which, by the way, was a little bit anticlimactic. I didn't find anything all that new. Stuff that we pretty much speculated on, probably half of what we already knew. Um, and I think it's just kind of a train wreck of drama back and forth right now. So, where she was lagging behind because her last couple of months have been pretty boring, Amber just came up out of nowhere. I think we got a mutual knockout going on here. So good job, Gorl World. Um, and the ultimate winners here today are Snowflake and Amber herself, because Amber did a live about 6 hours ago, and if my calculations are correct, she probably made about 5 grand off the views. And likewise, Snowflake probably made at least 4 grand, and that's not even counting the what do you call it, the super chats and the donations and everything that you get. So good job, make your money, right? And that's really all this kind of is. It's a big money grab on people's parts, and everybody's kind of hoping to cash in on it a little. But I'm a little bit tired of hearing about it, so I'm gonna let you go. And yeah, I think I'm gonna do a little bit more of these GorlWars episodes, and maybe it'll be a series or something. Hope you're keeping well. Drink your water, take your meds, as they say, and have a great day.